Welcome to another video. Today's video I'm gonna be starting on the Challenger's floor pan here for the trunk. Stay tuned.
Music bed.
Here's the progress on the trunk pan here on the 71 Challenger. So I got most of it I have most of it removed from the frame rails here all the way back. I just have the small edge around the wheel well here, which I need to take the tires off on both sides and then drill the spot welds from the outside of the trunk, which would give me a good place to weld the new one from the outside. I am not going to replace the wheel wells. They do have a little bit of surface rust around here, but I'm going to clean it up, put some rust encapsulator, at least for now. Not the inner ones, they look okay or decent enough. I'll see about the outer ones, but that wouldn't be until I'm doing the quarter panels, because having the quarter panel out, I can have really easy access to that. I can always patch those as well. This side, same thing. I mean, they look decent enough where I'm just gonna leave it. Same with the frame rail here. I can get a replacement frame rail here at the piece, but mostly it's decent. I am gonna put a little bit of reinforcement metal on the inside of both of these, just to have it a little bit stronger and weld it in before I put the pan. But they're pretty good. They did have some rough surface rust, but I was able to take that off. So they're pretty good now. I did take the tail piece off, which this is the new one here. I will have to, I'm gonna slip in the floor pan, which it should go right in there from underneath, and then before I weld anything, I do have to put this in there because the back of the frame, when I took that bar off, they moved just slightly, and so I'm just gonna line up the holes here. It's just about maybe 1/4 inch that I have to push it out, but I'll have to clamp it, make sure it's lined up, and then I can mark where I need to drill the holes for the trunk pan, and then take it all out, drill the holes, put it all back, hold it together once I do those pieces anyways, and then start welding. So it's gonna go all welded as one. I did mention this piece is not available. For the most part, everything is good except the bottom piece here. I did buy some kind of angle metal that I'm gonna cut a little bit and just pretty much replace this bottom piece, but I'm gonna put that metal here and weld it to this. I'll probably cut this a little bit more, but I can't get this piece new, so I have to kind of make it work that way. I bought angle, that way it goes up around it, and I can always spot weld also on the top, just that way it's a little bit more reinforced rather than just like a flat piece. And I think that would make it a little bit stronger, a little bit better repair. I am getting these small little corner pieces, which I'm not even gonna weld in at this point to the new pieces. I'm just probably gonna cut that piece there. This is part of the extension of the trunk pan, which I'm gonna replace at a later time. So I'm gonna do this, not weld this for now. I'll probably put the valance back on and then the bumper, drive it around, but when the quarter panels, those will get replaced. So let's get this finished. I went ahead and drilled out, so I took the wheel tire off here on the inside, just drilled out the spot welds on the wheel well, and so I'm gonna grab my chisel now, and I should be able to just hit this out. If I missed any, then I would kind of know. I can go back and drill it. Once I get this out, I'll get the grinder and clean that up, get it ready for the new one. Same with these. I had put some of the rust encapsulator, but I'm gonna clean them up a little bit before the weld. Once I drill the spots where I'm gonna weld, I'm gonna mark them and then make sure to grind exactly where each spot weld's gonna be. I did put like the undercoating on the rest of the floor pan, and I'm gonna do that before installing the gas tank. I was doing that here earlier, got a little sidetracked. So here's the floor pan. These are the gas tank reinforcement panels. I put them on there. I already put the tank on top to make sure, because those little rails fit right on the groove on the gas tank, so that's where they gotta be. I marked them, drill holes, marked them on the pan, cleaned them up, so this is ready to be spot welded in there. I figured it'd be easier to do that in here, so I can make sure to push that bracket right up close to the pan, and then since I don't have anything down here, it should be no problem getting that pan in with those installed, but it'd be easier than welding upside down. So I'm doing that too. So once I get this one off, I'll get the other piece off too. I went ahead and welded the gas tank supports. I guess not really support, but maybe that's where, this is where the gas tank hangs from. So I just welded them, sanded the spot welds a little bit. I'm gonna get ready to put this pan in the car so I can mark everywhere that I need to drill the holes for the spot welds. Getting closer to put it in there. I went ahead and put in those reinforcement little fill panels inside of the frame rail here on both sides, and then just stitch welded it to the actual frame. And it's kind of hard to see, but I painted everything in here with the black spray paint, so it's all good to go now. There is little kind of like, not rust holes, but they're just regular holes that were underneath these pieces that I put, because I put some on the bottom and the sides. I'm gonna go underneath with seam sealer and just kind of fill those so water doesn't get in. A couple of the little rust spots here on the side, I welded some of them, but the rest I'm just gonna fill with seam sealer just so water doesn't go in. Really the purpose was to just make the frame rail a little bit more enforced or a little bit stronger, in case I also need to drill into it or attach anything. There's going to be another layer of steel that it can attach to. So I marked everywhere where I'm gonna weld the floor, and I used the grinder to grind the spots. It's hard to see just with the shade right now, but I'm ready to get the floor and slip it in there, put the back piece back on, and then just start welding it all around. Okay, got the floor pan in there, and that cross member on the back, so it's all lined up. The holes there, it wasn't too bad. Like I said, the end of the frames moved just slightly, but they moved right back. There is slightly a gap, not too bad around the edges there, but before you weld it, you just put some pliers to clamp it together. So it looks pretty good. It's all the way up there. This is on the back here. Now once it's ready to be welded, I'll probably put a jack right here, but I have to weld it to the frame rails first, so it's flat against the frame rails, and then I can push it up just slightly, so that way the whole thing goes up and I can close this gap. I do remember though, factory, it was pretty much at this point. Up here it was higher, and here in the middle was right at the edge actually. So it does look like the pan is kind of bent up here on the side, so I'm gonna, like I said, if I jack it up here, I can always hit this a little bit lower, but I do want this to be a little bit higher. Maybe just keep it straight across the back. Like I said, that's not how it was, but that's probably what I'm gonna do. And then I bought that angle that I'm gonna have to cut after all that and just put it here as reinforcement. I'll probably end up cutting the edge of this, which is has a little bit of rust here at the end, so I'll just cut it straight. I do want to leave it as of right now because it has these holes that are where that cover went, and so I want to make sure I keep them in the same spot. But overall, looks decent. This was a, I don't know what brand this pan was, but you know, like any reproduction part, you're gonna have to massage it and make it fit. Every car is different. You know, the car might have been, well, I know it has been right over there, so you know, I can't say, oh, it doesn't fit the car right. Well, the car might be a little bit off. So what I'm gonna do now is get a piece of cardboard, lay here on the bottom, and then with the marker mark where the frame touches the pan, and then the front, and then I'll take it back out to the back and drill all the holes for the spot welds, and then once that's done, I can actually start welding it into the car for sure. So I'm making some progress, not too much more to get it all done, so it's just a little bit of time to take it out, drill the holes, put it back in, line it all up, and really just taking your time, right? Because once you start welding, I mean, it makes it a lot harder if you have to take it back off because you did something wrong. So I am gonna put some metal in this end of the frame rails here on the inside to reinforce this. That's gonna take a little bit longer, but not too much. It's just a matter of cutting it, putting it in there, and then welding it. So I think for about the 10th time, I got the trunk floor pan in here. You know, it's important to measure twice, cut once. Got this back piece lined up. I'm gonna mess with this afterwards. This is where I'm gonna put that angle. But once I have the whole trunk welded, then I'll do that. At this point, I think I'm pretty much ready. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pick a couple of spots where, like for instance, I know like this one is touching the frame rail, so I'm gonna weld this one, and then I'll do another one like this one here, and then from there I can actually, you know, start. Maybe I will even crawl in here with my weight. It will go down and start welding around. It's all the way that way where it needs to be, and around the wheel well there, I'm just gonna get my pliers and make sure it's touching, but that's gonna be the last piece there. And then I'm also gonna weld this part to the floor, and I'll get the pliers to touch it here on the back. Pretty much this is how it was before I took the pan out. You know, from up here it was higher, the little piece, and same on this side. This side it was barely here at the edge, which I already tried. I put a jack here and it does go up a little bit. I think kind of like the frame rails do move slightly up, so I'm gonna do that. Once I weld those first two pieces, I'll weld this, because I think once I weld everything, I don't think it's gonna give much anyway. But either way, besides here, I'm putting that little angle that I bought on the inside, and that's pretty long. I'm gonna have to cut it on this side, but I think here it'll make up the difference, because at the end of the day, the bumper kind of goes up here to cover that big piece that goes over here. It covers. So really I just need to, you know, fill this void so no water, no elements get in. And I can also, once I have this welded to the floor pan, kind of hit it here on the edge, and it'll bend it up here just at the tip. Just right now, if I hit it, it's just gonna move everything. So I need to weld it to this back piece, weld this back piece to the frame, weld some to the frame on top, and then I can hit it and it'll, you know, kind of tilt this back a little bit. I'm not gonna do it too much, but I will do it slightly just to kind of keep it a little bit, I guess a little bit straighter. Other than that, I think it's good to go. Once I get this welded, before I put the gas tank, I'm gonna put undercoating underneath and all that, a little bit of seam sealer on all the edges, so there's still quite a bit of work after I weld this in there, but at least it's not all Bluetooth floor pan now. So let me get this welded and then I'll show you what it looks like afterwards. So the floorboard is all welded in, everywhere around the tire well. I do have to patch this wheel well here. It was pretty thin here on the, it was kind of rusted through, and when I welded it ripped, you know, to try to get it to fit. I might try to just now maybe cut a piece of metal and just weld it here, just to patch it. That's really the only spot where it's kind of bad. Other than that, it's all welded in there. The only thing I have is this back piece here, so I am gonna get that angle. I did hit it, so it's pretty far up here on the middle, and then on the sides it's a little bit higher, but I just have it kind of held there. It should just stay though. It doesn't really go up and down as I jack it. I just wanted it to be kind of solid when I was hitting it, so I'm gonna get that angle, put it right here. This is where I'm gonna cut it, because I think it's too wide this way. I might have to cut it going down, but I'm gonna put it over the top here, kind of stitch weld it here on top, and weld it here on the bottom, and that should complete the floor pan install for this part. Later on, when I do the quarters though, I'm gonna do this is called the floor pan extension. So it goes here and it goes down, buttons up to the quarter panel, which, you know, when I replace that, I'm gonna have that whole piece out. So that'll be at a later time, because I don't want to go through the trouble of taking this out, unbonding it from the quarter panel, and then where later I'm gonna take the whole thing out. So I'm gonna get my angle and mesh right here, and then we'll get that completed. So this is the finished product. I have my floor pan all finished. I ground down all the welds, sanded them down, put a little bit of black paint, some undercoating up here and underneath as well, and on the inside of the fender. I already put the wheels back on, but that's all set under there. So I did also install this piece that's for the trunk latch. The old one was rusted about here, so it was kind of short. And then this is the angle that I did. I ended up doing it this way instead of the other way, because the bolts here were gonna, you know, there wasn't gonna be enough room to thread the bolts for that plate that goes on the other side. But this way it holds this back piece. I welded it to the floor pan. I went ahead and bent this back piece, so it actually looks pretty much same as the factory one was in there. I put a little bit of black paint on this back piece, but I only had one can, so I ran out. And then I welded a few pieces here. The floor pan, that little angle is welded on the other side, so I mean, this is pretty much, well, now I got paint in my fingers, but this is pretty much all strong now. I am gonna put some seam sealer here just to, you know, seal the edges, and then I have to drill the holes, but I have the templates to put that back piece back on. But it's pretty much all set. From here I'm gonna just put that balance not today, but I'm gonna put that back on. I have to clean the filler neck. I'm gonna get some rust remover. But anyways, thanks for watching this video. Stay tuned, subscribe, turn on your notifications. The next video I'm gonna be installing the gas tank and the fuel system for the Coyote, so stay tuned for that. And then the next few videos is gonna be getting a battery in here, start testing the lights, just because that's the only thing that's left of the car, and then really getting that Holley Terminator installed so we can get the engine running. So stay tuned. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to the channel. We'll see you in the next one.